I read it just to make sure. just to make sure I knew how it ended, you know.
I'll be glad to know I actually finished it.
Well, thank God. No spoiler alerts, don't tell me how it ends.
I won't.
Uh-huh. Did you enjoy it?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, how many of you? Can I ask questions? Is that okay? So, how many of you have ever? How many of you have grandmothers or an experience with a grandparent that rivals something like Goldie and Ida? Jesse does. I didn't do this for your grandmother, I did it for mine, but they might as well have been the same. I mean, my point is that grandmothers all over the world are pretty much cut from the same cloth. And that's sort of, I think what makes it funny is that it is universally appealing and universally relatable. Or an older person in their life in some way who can remind them of a grandmother. So, you guys start. I do have a couple more questions for you as we go along, because there are a couple things that I haven't revealed publicly, but that I will to you guys, because hey, you know, you took the time to read it and to talk to me. You did all read it, right?
Yes.
Oh, incredible. Tell me what you thought. I'm a big girl, I can take it.
Well, I really liked Goldie and Ida. I thought they were a great tag team. You know, and actually, I thought they were the stars of the book.
Oh, yes.
I did too, honestly. I did too. I had more fun writing them than I did anything else.
You can read the delight in the words you write.
Yeah.
When you are...
Oh, that's great. I love that.
They pretty much wrote their own story. I mean, once you had the characters down, who they were, they wrote their own story.
Yeah. Well, and they did. You know, as I was sitting here writing, I'm just laughing with them. You know, it's like, oh my God, what else are they going to come up with? It's you know, when I write, I become the characters, and so each one of them, which makes me, I don't know, schizophrenic, I suppose. But you know, but it was just so much fun being them. It was just because they could be completely outrageous, and you know, it didn't matter. Oh, I want to be old so I can do that. But not yet.
Wait a minute, there's people in the room that are old.
Well, I never said.
You're just seasoned. Thank you.
What's the?
How old is Goldie?
I
don't think you ever tell us how old they are.
No, I never do. I sort of tend to like to leave something to your imagination. I would like it to be. How old do you think she was?
I thought you said somewhere in there she was like 89 or 90 or something like that.
I said they were in their mid-80s. I gave you a range just so you have something to work with. But I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I try to leave things to your imagination so that you can be part of the story. If I tell you everything, then you don't have to work for it. And I kind of like it when you work for it. Just a little bit, not a lot, but just a tad. I mean, do you guys prefer knowing everything, every descriptor? No. No. You know, it's funny because my editor for this book was Elizabeth Sims, who is a fabulous editor and an incredible author herself, as you all know. But Elizabeth wanted more descriptors, and I was very reluctant to give you a lot more. Simply because I'm like you guys. I want to envision it myself a little bit. I want to have enough information, but not so much that that there's nothing left for me to imagine. There's nothing left for me to do except for to read. I want to be, a participant in the story, essentially. So yeah, so they're in their mid-80s. You pick the age number that works for you. It's fine with me. Once I let go of the book, this was a good lesson for me that I learned at the book club in Minneapolis with you guys. What year was that, Ruta, when I came out and did Eyes on the Stars?
Oh, yeah.
You remember, Jess?
Was that 20, I don't remember when it came out, 2011?
2010 or 2011? I lose track. You know, I'm old, so I lose track. But I remember so clearly, that was a big crowd that night, and it was in the basement of the bookstore. And I remember so clearly just sitting there listening to everybody argue about what I meant in my book. As I was sitting there watching you all, you're arguing over the meaning and the depth and what I intended with the book. And I finally got to the point where I let everybody go for probably, I don't know, was it 20 minutes? And then I finally very quietly said, does anybody want to know what I think? But no, not really. But that was the moment. I mean, it's important because that was the moment when I realized that once a book leaves an author's hand, once that book is out of my hands and off my desk, it becomes your book. And it's your experience, not mine anymore. And it's whatever you make of it. So whatever you thought Goldie and Ida were in terms of age and, however else you interacted with them, that is yours. I can't, everybody brings their own experience to anything, including a work of fiction. So some of that was up to you guys, and I that was a humble lesson that I learned from you all a few years back, and I actually tell that I was very humbled by it, and I actually tell that story often because it really made an impact on me. So thanks, guys, for taking me to school and teaching me a little something.